Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Dion's Daily Dose for Wednesday, September 23rd. So I want to give you an update on what's going on with the watch parties. The 29th is going to be in Chesterton, definitively locked in. The next one will be in Westville, and the final one will be in Michigan City. Let me take a quick double check. We got obviously the 29th. I had them listed, but they'll be the days of the presidential debates. I want to say like the 22nd, the 29th for sure. And then in October, it'll be the 15th and 22nd, I believe. Again, Chesterton, Westville, Michigan City, in that order. So here's how we're going to do it. Candidates are going to bring food. There will be food served. Unfortunately, none of the locations have an on-site kitchen, so we will not have food that you can order. Hi, Jack. Thanks for joining us. But there will be food there. What we're going to do, based on current COVID regulations, and we're going to keep these in place even if they change with the new rules, we're going to have a single person that's serving. They will be wearing protective material, all that stuff, mask, gloves, whatever, to serve you your food. Have individually bagged chips, stuff like that. It'll be a good time. We're also going to have the stream going. You'll be able to either come and hang out with us in person or log in, have a chance to ask your favorite candidate questions that you want answered before we go to the debate. You'll be able to watch it with like-minded patriots and have a good time. We already have a couple of really good ideas for some stuff that's going to be auctioned off and given as prizes. I don't want to spoil the surprise. I will tell you that Connie Saris was very kind and donated 2 of her paintings that actually featured in Tinley Park to the party so that we can auction them off or prize or whatever we're going to do. I'm going to get together with the other candidates and see how we're going to do that. But we're going to have a few cool games. We'll have some stuff for the kiddies. Let us know, though. Here's what I do ask you. If you are going to attend, and you are absolutely welcome to attend, we'd love for you to come. If you're going to bring your children, let us know that and their ages so that we can appropriate things. Message myself or my wife, Elizabeth Bergeron, on Messenger, and let us know how old your children are so that we can have stuff that's going to appeal to them. If we have 3-year-olds, they're not going to care about, playing on a tablet or playing Candyland or something. A little 1-year-old's going to chew on the board instead. We'll have some good stuff, but we need to know the ages of the children that will be joining us. It's my son's Chromebook there. So I was gonna get into the Karens and all that stuff, but I'm gonna tell you here's the rest of the plan. Check Eventbrite. I'm still working on getting everything in there, but check Eventbrite and it will have all the information. You can just look up #Dion for Indiana and it should hopefully take you to the event. You can also look up the organizer, Dion for Indiana. I have one completely done and two other ones that I'm working on adding right now. And then the team is working on some other stuff so that we can bring it all together and have a nice presentation for you, so it looks good and it'll be fun. I think it'll be really cool. We have multiple candidates that are already like, yes, sign me up. We will have a complete list of that before the debate watch party so that you will know who will be there and who will not. We might even have some people that swing by. I spoke to Mark Leva, who is the Republican candidate for Congress, District 1. He was non-committal. He said he may come by. We have a couple other people that we're putting out there. I got to figure out what the regulations are for some of them, because some of the positions that they run for, it's very, very different as to like my rules that I can do and whatnot. So we have to make sure that everything's good. We're not going to have any problems, anything like that. Nobody wants any issues. We just want everybody to be able to have a good time, enjoy the debates. And listen, I do want to point out that if for some reason a particular candidate is unable to make it to the debate, we are going to have something in place just in case. If for some reason, any reason, the debate does not take place as planned, we are still going to have this party. We're still going to have the games. We're still going to have everything. We're just going to have to get a little creative. And we have, like I said, we have plans in place for that. So never fear. So it seems first the funny, right? Let's go with the amusing first before I share the not so funny. So I'm sure that everyone here knows the term Karen. Whether you agree or disagree with it, it's become synonymous with people who can't seem to mind their own business, who feel greatly offended because people are doing something that they believe that they should not be doing. In this particular case, we have a Karen who calls the police on rowdy pool party, right? Said, my neighbor's having a rowdy, you need to come shut it down. This rowdy pool party is two adults and two children with their feet in a wading pool. According to the story from Daily Dot, a mom had the police called on her by her neighbor, who allegedly reported that she had a, quote, rowdy pool party. The party consisted of two adults, two kids, and one kiddie pool. The mom, TikTok user at Lady Raru, posted a video on Monday explaining what went down. The video, which currently has over 2 million views, begins with her recording the police vehicle outside of her home. Two children and a woman are sitting in lawn chairs, soaking their feet in a kiddie pool in the front lawn. Quote, our neighbor called the cops on us for a rowdy pool party, and I'm going to show you what the rowdy pool party is, she says. Her roommate laughs and adds, can you believe it? I can't make this as up. Hateful as F, dude, she tells the camera. She goes on to say that the neighbor was driving by and scowled at the two women who smiled back at her. She says the neighbor drove off, but came back a couple of minutes later. The cops were laughing. They were like, we got a call about a rowdy pool party, and we were expecting a bunch of teenagers with a real pool. She recalls how the police reacted when they arrived on the scene. That was it. Excuse me, this was it. This was the rowdy pool party. She then pans the camera over to her friend and the two kids, all with their feet in the pool. And on her front lawn reads, hate has no home here. The video's comment section is filled with replies about how petty the neighbor's actions were. Blah, 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 blah. Others shared her Karen horror stories of times the cops were called on them for seemingly minuscule reasons. I was reported at a homeowners association meeting for driving down the block too often. I leave my home too often for people's comfort, one replied. A couple of weeks ago, my husband was making grilled chicken in the backyard. My neighbor called the fire department on us, another commented. 5 pieces of chicken, y'all. In a follow-up video, the woman explains that after the police left, she and her roommate were speaking loudly about the incident. Quote, we don't do anything illegal, so quit calling the cops on us, she recalls. She says the neighbor's daughter, quote, happened to be walking by right at that moment and she went in and told her mom that we had accosted her or whatever. The neighbor then allegedly stormed out of her house, and when they asked her why she was angry, she certainly said, "I'm not angry." The woman recalls asking the neighbor, "What's it like to have that much hate in your heart?" The woman allegedly angrily replied, "I don't. I just don't need a sign." Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, that is the state of our world, because this doesn't just happen. I've seen Karen stories from all across the world. UK, Australia, all over. Apparently, people cannot seem to get it through their heads to mind their business. If someone is not hurting you or hurting someone else, go about your day. Move on. People have better things to do. And police departments have better things to do than to respond to ridiculous calls like this. So now for the bad news. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the national news right now, but there was a announcement. There was movement in the Breonna Taylor's case, and the National Guard was activated in Chicago. Multiple National Guard vehicles could be seen Wednesday afternoon at Wabash Avenue and Roosevelt Road, just hours after a grand jury indicted one former police officer for shooting into neighborhoods, but not in connection to Taylor's death. The picture caption reads, "Illinois National Guard deployed at Wabash Avenue and Roosevelt Road on Wednesday afternoon, anticipating protests later that night after charges were announced in the slaying of Breonna Taylor in Kentucky." The Illinois National Guard was activated in Chicago on Wednesday at the heels of multiple protests regarding the charges in the death of Breonna Taylor by police. Multiple National Guard vehicles Wednesday afternoon. Protests were planned at Chicago Police Headquarters, St. Sabina Church, Millennium Park, and Palmer Square. Folks here at Racine and 79th plan to hold this space till 6 o'clock. Protest marshals clear a path for an ambulance to move through the intersection of 79th and Racine. Illinois National Guard spokesman Bradford Layton confirmed the units were, quote, activated in Chicago. Some of the Guard's vehicles were in the street for survey purposes, according to Office of Emergency Management and Communications spokeswoman Mary May. Governor J.B. Pritzker's office on Wednesday said the Guard units were still in a state of readiness after being sent to Chicago Tuesday ahead of possible charges in Taylor's death. Meanwhile, Chicago took its own measures to prevent possible civil unrest. The city on Wednesday strategically positioned 300 city vehicles, including snowplows and other large trucks, to deter rioting at commercial corridors. The city has used a similar strategy during looting in May and August. So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what, I forgot to, I thought I shared that with you. So here's what we got. I'm going to show you. It's from the Chicago Sun-Times. Here's the link to the story. Whoops. Here, we'll copy that and give you a link to it. So here's what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're looking at. This is a case that has nothing to do with the people of Chicago, the people of Washington, D.C., the departments that are in place in Chicago, Washington, D.C. My understanding is Minneapolis or Minnesota, Wisconsin, stuff all over the place. I don't agree with the way that things went down there, of course. But rioting, destroying things, which is, of course, what they're setting up for. Hopefully, peaceful protest, I'm all for it. The people that you're protesting, though, are not there. They're not in Washington. They're not in Chicago. This is in Kentucky. It's unfortunate that people in these locations are potentially going to pay the price for decisions that were made somewhere else in the country that they had nothing to do with. And I think that is kind of the underlying thing to take away from this is if we can start affecting change locally, we can broaden, right? But marching and, more importantly, destroying things is not creating change. It's just creating destruction. Uh, my opinion, vote, 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 vote your local people, vote your congressmen, vote your legislators, vote your mayors, all the way up and down the ballot. Vote for what you want. Vote for what you believe in. Don't vote for somebody because you hate the other person. I'm not sure how else I can explain this. Don't vote against anything. Vote for what you believe in. If nobody on the ballot is someone you believe in, then don't vote. Because you're not making your vote matter by voting against anything. If the person that is on your ballot is someone worth supporting, is someone worth signing your name on that document saying, yes, I vote for this person, then by all means, vote for that person. But if you are voting for someone because they're not that person, you really need to evaluate why you're voting and what you are voting for. In other news, a recent article came out. I'm going to share it with you. I don't know if you saw it. There have been some playing around going on, of course, since this was released. I saw it on John Solomon, and all of a sudden his Twitter is let's see here. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. So let me share this with you. All right. So this just happened. U.S. Senators Ron Johnson, chairman of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, and Chuck Grassley, our Iowa chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, released a report that revealed millions of dollars in questionable financial transactions between Hunter Biden and his associates and foreign individuals, including the wife of the former mayor of Moscow and individuals with ties to the Chinese Communist Party. Now, this is from HSGAC, Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs, .senate.gov. So these were just some of the findings from their investigation into potential conflicts of interest arising from Hunter Biden accepting a position on the board of and taking millions of dollars from Burisma, a Ukrainian energy company with a long-standing reputation for corruption, while his father, Joe Biden, was vice president and the public face of the Obama administration's handling of Ukraine policy. Findings from the chairman's investigation include: in early 2015, former deputy chief of mission at the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv, Ukraine, George Kent, raised concerns to individuals in Vice President Joe Biden's office about the perception of a conflict of interest with regard to Hunter Biden's role on Burisma's board. Kent's concerns went unaddressed, and in September 2016, he emphasized in an email to his colleagues, quote, "Furthermore, the presence of Hunter Biden on the Burisma board was very awkward for all U.S. officials pushing an anti-corruption agenda in Ukraine." October 2015, senior State Department official Amos Hochstein, raised concerns with Vice President Biden as well as with Hunter Biden that Hunter Biden's position on Burisma's board enabled Russian disinformation efforts and risked undermining U.S. policy in Ukraine. Now, where have we heard about Russian disinformation? Where have we heard that the Russians are influencing stuff? Hunter Biden was serving on Burisma's board, supposedly consulting on corporate governance and transparency when Burisma owner Mykola Zlochevsky allegedly paid a $7 million bribe to officials serving under Ukraine's prosecutor general, Vitaly Yarema, to, quote, shut the case against Zlochevsky. George Kent testified that this bribe occurred in December 2014, 7 months after Hunter Biden joined Burisma's board. And after learning about it, He and the resident legal advisor reported this allegation to the FBI. In addition to the over $4 million paid by Burisma, Hunter Biden and his business partner, Devon Archer, for membership on the board, Hunter, his family, and Archer received millions of dollars from foreign nationals with questionable backgrounds. I don't know if you say his name Devon or Devon, but Archer received a $142,300 from Kingiz Rakashev of Kazakhstan. Whoa, so much words. How do you say this? Kingiz Rakashev of Kazakhstan, purportedly for a car the same day Vice President Joe Biden appeared with Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk and and addressed Ukrainian legislators in Kyiv regarding Russia's actions in Crimea. Hunter Biden received a $3.5 million wire transfer from Elena Baturina. Ms. Baturina is the widow of the former mayor of Moscow. Hunter Biden had business associations with Yi Jinping, Gong Wendong, and other Chinese nationals linked to the communist government and People's Liberation Army. Those associations resulted in millions of dollars in questionable transactions. Hunter Biden opened a bank account with Gong Wendong that financed a $100,000 global spending spree with James Biden and Sarah Biden. Hunter Biden also moved millions of dollars from his law firm to James Biden's and Sarah Biden's firm. Upon being questioned about the transaction, Sarah Biden refused to provide supporting documentation and information to more clearly explain the activity. The bank subsequently closed the account. Now, for the most disturbing of all in this, Hunter Biden paid non-resident women who were nationals of Russia or other Eastern European countries and who appear to be linked to an, quote, Eastern European prostitution or human trafficking ring. Eastern European prostitution or human trafficking ring. As outlined in Senate Resolution 70, the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee has the express authority to, quote, to study or investigate the efficiency and economy of operations of all branches of the government, including the possible existence of corruption or unethical practices and conflicts of interest, end quote. The Senate Finance Committee has broad jurisdiction over the United States government and the Department of Treasury and the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, which includes oversight jurisdiction over potential financial crimes. A copy of the full report is available at this link. I'm going to give you the link for this, and you may look it up at your leisure. There you go. That's the latest from that. I think it ties in because, again, don't vote against someone. Vote for what you believe in. Stay safe out there. I think tonight's going to get really crazy. Make sure you're in good shape. I will say this. There are definitely things wrong with our legal system. I am running on criminal justice reform. These things need to happen. It needs to be across the board, massive changes. But again, rioting, destruction are not the ways to go about this. Vote for the people that are going to make the changes happen that you want. And you know what? If you don't see a person on that ballot, if you don't see the change happening that you want, you run. You run. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate your time. God bless you. God bless Indiana. And God bless the USA.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers, Sean Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2020. Dion's Daily Dose, all rights reserved.